You're now tuned into the Lady Charmaine live show, and I'm your host, Lady Charmaine. And of course, I got another great interview for you today. Today, I want to know, what do you get when you get a prank call early in the morning and it makes you mad as hell? Well, my next guest might be the man behind it. I'll tell you who it is coming up right after this. My guest today is a comedian, radio host, TV host, and actor. And he can be heard weekly pranking people all over the country on the Steve Harvey Morning Show. And he is here today to talk about his brand new show, Ready to Love on OWN. Help me welcome to the Lady Charmaine live show, Mr. Tommy Miles, better known as Nephew Tommy. Welcome to the show.
Lady. How you doing?
I am good. Before we get started, my friend, Mr. David Peterson, wanted me to give you a shout out. He wanted me to tell you what's up out of Houston, Texas. He said you host events for him every year, so he wanted me to make sure that I told you. He said what's up.
Tell him I said hello, Houston. That's my hometown, born and raised.
Absolutely. Well, we know you got a whole lot going on, and many of you know, many people know you from the Steve Harvey Morning Show because we know your uncle is one of the funniest men on radio and television, and I'm sure he was very happy to definitely put you on. But to really see you now making your own way through, now you got a show on OWN. How does that make you feel now that you're not necessarily stepping out of the shadows, but now we know you as Mr. Tommy Miles on OWN for Ready to Love? How does that feel?
You know what? It feels good to get out from underneath the umbrella. Don't get me wrong. The umbrella has been good. Mm-hmm. I'm not complaining about it, but it's good. But it is good to step out on your own and kind of introduce yourself to the world and let them know what you got. And I got a little bit, and I got plenty more coming. Y'all just hold on. We're going to keep doing some new things.
I know that's right. Because you know what, Tommy, to be honest with you, when I saw the very first episode, I was able to really see you. And when you stepped out that car and you was like, I'm Tommy Miles, you really showcased your personality, even all throughout the show. I mean, you showcased your character, your swag, your charisma. And I saw Tommy Miles, not necessarily Nephew Tommy. So I was really happy to see that.
You know what? I think a lot of people are seeing that now. I think I guess I've been hiding behind the radio per se, not necessarily hiding, but when you're in that little box in the car, nobody can really see who you are, even get the personality of who you are. But I think this show allows me to be able to to step out and people actually get my point of view and how I feel about different things in life, especially with relationships with these guys. There's some, oh my God, you about to see some relationships go on, and you get to pick and choose who you are in this show with all these beautiful ladies and what they've been through, what they're going through. You get to say, you know what, I'm going through the same thing. That's me right there. So you get to see it, and I'm that person that's trying to bring it to life so you can get it.
One thing I love about the show, it is literally a dating show, everyone, with a twist. Because I wasn't sure if it was going to be like, of course, the other shows, The Bachelor, but the twists you guys put on this show, such as when the women have an opportunity to do their own pickings. So the men have to literally vie for the women, which is something you don't see a lot. You see a whole lot of other women vying for men, but to put men in that situation, how did you guys come up with that concept? Whose idea was that?
That was Will Packer, the producer extraordinaire. That was him. He sat down with Miss Oprah Winfrey, and she liked his angle and direction. She wanted a dating show that wasn't going to be ratchet, and he brought us something that's edgy but not ratchet, and it's a good twist. You get to see men trying to lobby for themselves because they want to make sure they stay on the show because you want to be in these ladies' good graces.
Right.
But at the same time, as this whole show progresses, the tables are going to turn, and the women will be trying to make sure they stay on the show because the men will be voting women off. Mm-hmm. So it works on both sides. But, you as the viewer, you get to see, and ladies especially, you get to see what men really think and what they're saying behind closed doors when you're not there. You get to be the fly on the wall. So when I bring these men into the cigar room and we sit down and chop it up, you get to see what they're really talking about.
You want to know, let me tell you something. Now, I'm glad Paco went home. I'm not even going to lie. Okay, that whole little male chauvinist thing. First off, you cheated on both your wives. Now, you cheated on the first one, and you can redeem yourself with the second one. But when you say you cheated on both of them, brother, you fresh out of excuses.
You did it again.
So I was cool with you. Kiba definitely needed to go because he was very immature. He talked a lot about himself, and because he was so full of himself, he had no room for anybody else in his life because he was so full of him.
Wow.
And so that's the one thing I noticed.
You see how you got all this detail? Mm-hmm. That's the detail the ladies got all over the country. They are dissecting each and every one of these guys, saying, I'm still not sold on him. I'm gonna wait a minute. Right. So everybody's picking and choosing, which is what we wanted. This is what we wanted to happen.
Now, let me tell you what I did like, though. I'm glad you guys added a pastor to the show. I'm glad you guys added Pastor Chris. I really liked him. I loved his personality. I love the fact that he showed another view of a man trying to be celibate until he was married. Because a lot of times you'll find a woman saying that a lot on a TV show. But to see another man say that on the show, I thought that was a great addition. I wish he would have still been on the show. But, of course,
exactly.
ladies didn't want to keep him, but that was good.
What I like about it, lady, is that was actually Pastor Chris. That was his perspective on life. That's how he felt. It was him. I liked it because it was genuine and it was real.
Absolutely. And that's what I like, too. And one thing I like, something that you said, because I thought you had recently, are you a newlywed? Haven't you been married about a year or two? Are you a newlywed, Tommy?
I'm a lot longer than that.
A lot longer, because I heard you say 32 years on the show, but I remember I was watching an award show, and I thought someone had said you had just gotten married and your wife was in the audience, so I thought you were newlywed. So, and I said, well, I thought he was.
No, we've been knowing each other for over 32 years. Wow. We've been married for 17 years.
Wow! Now knowing each other for 32, married for 17. So yeah, okay. So this is another thing.
And that is Will Packer's reason for giving me this job. He said, first of all, you're a good host. He said, but second of all, you got the experience. You've been with your lady a long time.
And this is what I wanted to say. Because you have a lot of people out there who may be doing dating shows or trying to give dating advice, but they're single. So the advice that they give people is not really working in their life. So it's like you could be a single man talking about dating and how, to get your Mrs. Right, or you're a woman out there, how to get your Mr. Right, but you don't have Mr. Right. So I'm glad they opened up the show with you saying that you've been with your woman for 32 years. So it let us know, okay, you know what you're talking about. And so thank you for that. Thank you,
Will Packer. It's good to have some type of wisdom and knowledge and something. And relationships, I guess, is the new hat that I have taken on, and I'm wearing it now. So I'm trying to give the best advice. I'm trying, especially with single ladies. There was one young lady came. Wow, how can you help me with what I'm going through? And I said, what's going on? She said, well, I took my old man back. I took my boyfriend back. Blah blah. I said, let me tell you something. Sometimes God will put your ex back in your life to see if you're still stupid.
What she say?
And there you have
it. and what she say to that? Because that is definitely the truth.
See, her mouth was just wide open after that,
Absolutely.
So I think I put enough on her mind to make her, on your way home, you need to think about that.
Okay, you know what? I appreciate Michael on the show for this very reason. Michael was straight up. Michael said something that I'm sure all the viewers probably was thinking, but she couldn't hear us, Dr. Lexi, when he mentioned about her makeup. And because when she walked through the door, I'm like, oh my goodness, she just did not look the same. She looked different. But I like the way he did it because he did do it with a lot of wisdom. And as you noticed in the next scene that she did appear in, she did appear 3 shades darker because she took off that light makeup and that blonde wig. So obviously he definitely...
And that glitter.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, don't forget the glitter. Don't act like it wasn't there. Don't act like the glitter wasn't there. Don't do that, lady. Don't act like the glitter wasn't there. The glitter was there.
And those contacts. So I appreciate him for doing that because we got a chance to see her for who she really was. So I think that Michael is definitely a keeper. And I can't wait to see how many women are going to start fighting over him. But my next question, why do you think there's a big dating problem in Atlanta, Georgia?
I don't know. You know what? Well, here's what I think. I think there's a lot. First of all, there's a lot of confident strong black sisters in Atlanta that they have their own thing going on. You know, they are career driven, and you know they have their own businesses. They are at the top of the. You know, we got ladies on the show that run banks. They're VPs of banks. So they have the greatest careers. I think the problem is that a lot of them never took the time to go back and say, I want to get a relationship going. They never had time, and basically they put their career first. And now these that we have on the show are coming back around saying, now I want a relationship now. I want something. I want somebody to live this with. And you have a lot of that going on, and you know, therefore you have a dating problem, and you have some men out there that are player, and you know, when it's a ratio of 20-1, you know, you got 20 women to every man. You know, it's some men out there that want all they 20, you know, and somebody else is 20, you know. So we got a problem here.
Right.
You want 20, and somebody else is 20, and then of course we can't act like it ain't Atlanta. There's some men don't want they 20, you know. So yeah, there's a dating problem.
Oh, no, that's funny. Now, Tommy, I got a question for you. Because you've been with your wife for 32 years and you guys been married for 17, and you're a man that's in the limelight with a lot of charisma, how do you handle when your 20s start trying to creep on through?
When my 20, oh,
you don't have 20, but you know what I'm saying? Because, how do you handle that?
You know what? You got to know that you have to be very nice to everybody. But at the end of the day, we finna go home. That's what we doing. We're gonna be, because everything in the world is gonna be thrown at you, and you got to know it. And you know, we built up too much together for one person to come in here and tear this down. That's not finna happen.
Right.
No. I'm going home.
He said, I'm going home.
That's what I'm going home.
Right.
Okay. If I want a redhead, then I'm gonna buy her a wig. But doggone it, I'm going home.
And my last question for you, what do you think some dating deal breakers are, or is there such a thing as dating deal breakers?
I think a lot of dating deal breakers, some of them are children. Some of them are the obedience of children. You know, a lot of people step into relationships and they try to pick up where somebody left off, and can they be that parent for these for different kids? And I think sometimes, you know, that maybe the mother or even the father, like, well, don't say that to him. Well, don't do that to her. Well, and then there's no discipline there, and you got people that are trying to you know, juggle that. That's a difficult issue. Finance is always an issue. Okay. Finance is always an issue in relationships. I mean, you don't want to get with nobody that, you know, as soon as you get with this brother, his credit 200, you know, he can't do nothing for himself. You got to pick him up from work and drop him off at work. This ain't working.
Right.
You know, so there's a lot of things that, as a mature woman, that you already, you know, some things you just not going to accept.
Right.
Something, okay, he going to have to have a job. He going to have to get to and from his job. You know, he going to have to treat me right. He going to have to take me out. You know, after we get together, don't stop dating me. Keep dating me.
Absolutely.
Let's keep going. A lot of people get complacent to the point where, you know, we dated for a while, it was good, now we going together. Okay, so going together and dating, I mean, come on now, what are we doing?
Right.
Going together, how can we be going together when in the last 2 months we ain't went nowhere? We ain't going nowhere. If we going together, let's go somewhere.
Right. Good point. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show, Tommy. And I want to remind everybody to be sure to tune in to Ready to Love Saturday nights, 9/10 Central on the OWN network. It's Dating with a Twist, and I cannot wait to see when the tables are turned on the women to see who's about to get kicked off this show with the host, Nephew Tommy, Mr. Tommy Miles. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, darling. I enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it too. Bye-bye. And again, I want to remind the audience, make sure you tune in Saturday night to Ready to Love. This is such a good show. It's definitely a dating show with a twist. It definitely keeps you on your toes to see who's going to get kicked off the show. So if you haven't seen it, make sure you go back to Own On Demand, catch the last 2 episodes, and guess what? We can talk about it on Hot Topics with Lady Charmaine Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Talk to you guys later. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Bye-bye.